Joining us on the telephone is George McPhee, the Vegas Golden Knights general manager. You're back in the throes. What are you going to do tomorrow? Because officially you're not part of the National Hockey League yet. So how do you go about your activities tomorrow?
Well, we talk to teams and see if there are deals to be made. We can do deals that don't involve players coming back this way, obviously. And
so you can do a deal tomorrow, even though the paperwork's not done?
I would say so, on a gentleman's agreement. I would expect that sometime in the next week we're going to be able to close. So I'm not worried about tomorrow that much, to be honest with you. So we are going to be official pretty soon.
So what's holding up the close? I understand people have to sign things, but how long does it take to sign papers? Is there something else?
You wouldn't believe the paperwork involved in this. And I can assure you the money is not the issue. If you've bought a house at any time in the last couple of years in the U.S., you know it takes about 4 months to close, it seems. They ask you for all the documents, and you get them in within a week or two, and then it takes them, the banks, 4 months to close. And, this is a $500 million transaction, and it's literally been about all the vetting and the banks and all these documents and the paperwork and things that have to be shifted around. So I expect to be official pretty soon, and Bill is really close on getting this done. So I don't think it's going to affect tomorrow at all.
Doug said prior to you coming on the show that you were going through the couches looking for loose change. That's not true.
No, it's not at all, and I really want to dispel that rumor, that notion, because we are extremely well-funded. Bill is a really wealthy guy, and it's got nothing to do with money.
So curious, by the way, we're going to do with Doug tomorrow. We're going to go through Vancouver's scenario going into the expansion draft and who they're going to protect and who they're going to leave open. So not that necessarily you need any help, but I know you've done a couple of mock drafts. What have you learned from those?
We've learned things change quickly. We've certainly, the first time through, had to get really comfortable with the rules and make sure we understood them, and we had a lot of questions for the league, and a lot of those questions have been answered. Still some gray area in terms of timing when all this is going to happen, but that's still being worked on. And then, we got into, in the next couple of mock drafts, more specificity with teams and knowing their players better, and actually getting to know our own staff better. We've only been together 6 months, and you want to develop some chemistry in the way you work together. And so we've learned a lot about ourselves, and we've learned a lot about the other clubs, and I think we're going along pretty well right now.
George, the players that you have been able to watch that you believe that will be available, did you have a pretty good idea of, because you've been around the league so long, on what you were looking at halfway through the season? Did any of them change your mind? How did that fluctuate from month to month?
Well, Nick, that some players come along and develop a little bit better and become, they have good years and become better players in your eyes, and some guys seem to be in decline, and you just have to really take a look at it and say, is this player really in decline, or is it the situation that he happens to be in, his role on this club? Would we be able to get more out of him and study it in those ways? As you know, having the player in the right environment matters, and so those are the things. Not only you have to know the players, but what direction are they going in,
George,
in terms of their career?
A couple of weeks ago, it was, or even maybe longer than that, it sounded like you were moving the coaching process ahead. Was that a rumor, or was that factual? And where does that stand right now? That process.
We were moving ahead in terms of making sure we were talking to people along the way. What we didn't want to do was get to April and not have interviewed anyone,
Right.
and try to do it all at once. So we were, when the opportunities were there, we were talking to people. There was some discussion, but it might happen before the end of the season. I wouldn't rule that out, but our plan all along was to take our time. And as you know, Doug, you don't, in this business, sometimes you don't have that kind of time. When you're making coaching decisions. Something's not going right with your club, you got to make a change, and you're scrambling to find the next guy and have to make a big decision in a short amount of time. We have some time, and we are really just trying to be comprehensive and do this right because it's a real key strategic hire for us.